Picture this. You buy 10 million private jet, but instead of paying 10 millions in cash, the bank hands you 8 million. The government gives you a massive tax break on the entire purchase, and completely random strangers pay the monthly loan for you. It sounds highly illegal, right? It's not. It's a real strategy used by the ultra-wealthy. In fact, the real estate moguls like Robert Kiyosaki and Ken McClory holds over $2 billion in debt combined, and that exact debt is the reason they pay almost zero in taxes. Welcome back to Enter Talks. I'm Davyd Kyrylyuk, and today we are exploring the ultimate matrix of money. We are looking at how you can use this exact same debt strategy not for private jets, but to buy cash-flowing real estate and build an empire. If you want to stop playing the financial game on a hard mode, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive in. To understand why debt makes you rich, we first have to understand what money actually is. Since 1971, the US dollar has not been backed by gold. It's fiat currency. And in the modern banking system, money literally is debt. Think about how a bank works. When you take your hard-earned paycheck and deposit into a saving account, what happens? To you, it looks like an asset. But to the bank, your money is a massive liability. It's a problem. Why? Because the bank owes you interest on that deposit. To solve their problem, the bank must lend that money out. They need people to borrow it so they can charge a higher interest rate and make profit. So our job as entrepreneurs and capitalists is to step in and solve the bank's problem. We go to the bank and say, hey, let me take that money off your hands. This is called OPM, others people money. When financial gurus tell you to live debt-free, they are giving good advice for people who do not have financial education. Because if you do not know how to use debt, that will destroy you. But if you learn the numbers, one skill of the wealthy, how to use debt as money, you unlock the completely different universe. So, how do we use this safely? It all comes down to two categories: bad debt and good debt. Bad debt is what keeps the middle class broke. It's putting an $80,000 loan for a brand new luxury car that loses 20% of its value the second you drive it off the lot. Bad debt means you are working a 9-to-5 job to pay the bank. But good debt is magical. Good debt is when you borrow money to buy an asset, and someone else pays the debt off for you. Other people pay. Let's go back to the private jet loophole we talked about earlier. When that wealthy investor buys 10 million jet, they don't use their own cash. They go to the bank. The bank finances 80% of it. So the bank brings 8 million of OPM, others people money. The investor puts down just 2 million. Now he is where it gets insane. Under certain tax laws, like 100% bonus depreciation, the investor can write off the entire 10 million purchase price against their taxes. Think about that. They only put in $2 million of their own money, but they get a 10 million tax break. The government is literally rewarding them for using the bank's money. And if they charter that jet out when they are not using it, other people are paying for the fuel, the maintenance, and the monthly loan payment. Now, I know most of you watching are not buying private jets tomorrow. But you can do the exact same thing with real estate. You use the bank's money to buy a rental property. You put a tenant in there. The tenant pays mortgage, the property taxes, and the insurance. You get the cash flow, you get the appreciation, and you get massive tax breaks. You are getting richer, and you are not even the one paying the debt. But here is the real reason most people never do this. It's not a lack of money, it's a lack of mindset. When an average person sees a $1 million apartment building or a great business opportunity, their brain immediately says, I can afford it. The moment you say, I can afford it, your brain shuts down. End of the story. You go back to your normal routine. But rich people are trained differently. They never say, I can afford it. Instead, they ask question, how can I afford it? When you ask how, your brain goes to work. You start thinking, okay, I don't have the cash, but the bank has cash, or maybe a private investor has cash. What collateral do I need? What assets can I find that bank would be willing to lend against? You see, a bank doesn't just lend money because you are a nice person. They lend money against collateral. If you find a solid piece of real estate that produces income, the bank knows that if you mess up, they can just take the property back and sell it. The asset is a security. When you realize that you do not need millions of dollars of your own money to play the game, you just need the skill to find good assets. The final piece of the puzzle is your environment. If you want to start using good debt to build wealth, you have to look at the people around you. When average people get together, what do they talk about? Who won the football game? The largest celebrity gossip? What's trending on a social media? When wealthy people get together, they are not talking about sports. They are talking about macroeconomics. They are pulling out books, discussing articles, sharing market trends, and sharpening each other's mind. If you start talking about buying a business or 10-unit apartment building, your broke friends will tell you, it's too risky, don't buy. They will tell you to just pay off your credit card and stay safe. You have actively choose to put yourself in rooms where your crazy financial goals are considered normal. Debt is a double-edged sword. If you use it to buy things that lose value, it will bleed you dry. But if you learn how to use other people's money to buy cash-flowing assets, you become financially unstoppable. You solve the bank's problem. You provide housing or services to the market, and the tax code rewards you for it. So what's your next step? Stop focusing on paying off your personal house and start figuring out how to buy your first investment property. Change I can afford it to how can I afford it? If you got value out of this video, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us to bring more of this content to you every single week. Drop a comment below. Tell me what is one asset you want to buy using good debt this year. I am Davyd Kyrylyuk, and this is Enter Talks. Start asking how, start building your wealth, and I'll see you in the next one.